All right, what's going on, y'all? Jordan the Maestro in the building. We're back again with another video, and what a week it was in the markets. Great week. Had a couple of news events that really shook up the markets, really changed direction on a couple of pairs. So let's get right into it. We know what it is. We're starting off with gold, and let's see how gold paid out this week, right, y'all? So all right, let's start in this zone over here. All right, so right over here, we had gold at this area of support, was at a strong area of support. And what we wanted to see is if it was going to break through support or if it was going to go on for the upside and break through resistance. And either way, we'd have a play and a move to pretty much call out, right? So once gold broke through support, came down and retested. So if we go down to a lower time frame, let's go down to the 15-minute time frame, go back to this area, right? So right here in the 15-minute time frame, once it broke through, a couple candlesticks broke through, then we see a retest to that zone right over here, right? Not just one candlesticks, but a couple candlesticks. That was our entry for the sell and was able to grab a quick 40 pips, 40 to 50 pips actually, right? So that was a great move to start off the week. Gold finally came down and settled to this area of support down here before it took off. And this area, as I had mentioned in a couple videos, this is a main area, very important support area for gold. And if we look at the higher time frame, we'll see how important this area is, right? So this area, or at least was a very strong support because it was the previous low on the higher daily time frame for gold. Okay, so once it got to this area over here, it's clear that it would have struggled at least a little bit. Even if it was going to break through, we would see some type of resistance in that area because it was a significant area, of course. Okay, so once we got to that area, we bounced right off. We could see that it found support, couple candlesticks, very strong support area, wicked off. Once we bounced off this support over here, we were able to get in for that move. Clear straight shot, very easy move all the way up to the upside, up to the next zone. Either way, it paid out very nicely. And if we calculate that, gave out 50 pips. That was the target TP that was sent out to the signal group, but held it for a little bit more, got about 100 pips from that move. Now, if we zoom out a little, if we just take a look at what happened later. So now coming from this area over here, this impulsive move over here, so gold started to consolidate a little bit and started to give us a structure that is a textbook structure for whether it be swing traders, and there is room for scalpers as well within the structure. Okay, so within this consolidation, we got a nice flag pattern. Okay, so we have our impulsive move, we have our retest, and it's going to give us a good indication that we'll get our continuation. It just so happened that lined up with the news release, the first news release of the week for USD, at least the first major news release. So initially, the initial response was on this big red candle over here. Okay, the initial response was on this candle over here. And although the initial response was for commodities to go down, this is why you have to be patient when news events come out. The market started to react completely differently to what was being given. Okay, so once the Fed chair started to speak, sentiments started to change, and we had this up move which lined up beautifully with structure. Okay, but this move would not have been available to someone who just rushed in on the initial news release and you just saw the market reacting downwards. Okay, so this was a great move. Waited for it. Once it was very clear which direction we wanted to go, I saw this area get broken. Okay, so this was a very, you could say, a mini area of resistance. Once that area was broken, I started looking for my entry, and definitely once this area that was already a previous resistance was broken, definitely knew we were good for the long run. Caught a good amount of pips from that. From here to here, caught about 100 pips from that move. Okay, now coming back down, All right, coming back down, we also got some more opportunity, right? Same thing here, break of structure. There's nothing different. Break of structure, wait for the retest. Let's go to the lower time frame. All right, break of structure. We got our retest in the lower time frame right over here, and we entered our trade. Okay, so take a look, got the retest right here, and then we entered our trade. Very easy move. The market really was paying out, and some people, the market wasn't paying out so much for them, but it's all subjective sometimes. Okay, so there's not, when people say the market hasn't been moving well or the market is moving funky, it's just sometimes, for the most part, it's subjective, because either way, people are going to lose money, people are going to win money. So those who lose, maybe it's not moving so well. Those who win, it's just fine for them. And right before, I believe this was right before NFP, Thursday, I think this was about Thursday night, if I'm not mistaken. Got this quick move, saw that price hit this area of support, was struggling to break, and got this quick move. It was about 30 pips, and sent that to the signal group, and that was the last trade I took for the week. NFP came in. NFP was quite a surprise because the sentiment was that we would be probably creating less jobs compared to last month. The sentiment was we'd probably come in at around 198,000 jobs that were created. That number was so way off, and it definitely didn't go the direction that people thought it would. So the thought was that number would be 198,000 jobs or less. That number actually came in at around 517,000 new jobs that were created from the last month. So that was a huge surprise, and as a result, we had a very strong dollar and commodities got very, very weak. Okay, so we had a down move on gold. Did not take that because was not going to go on the initial release, and I felt like I made enough for the week. No need to rush into any trade, so it worked out. All right, so in the week to come, where do we see things going? So it's interesting because if we go to a higher level perspective, we have broken our uptrending structure. Okay, so we had mentioned before, and let me remove a lot of the fluff here, but we had mentioned before that our previous low on the daily time frame was about this area over here. That was our previous low. So since we have broken our previous low, now we need to look for opportunities for further downside pressure unless we get another reversal. Okay, so let's take a look at our previous areas of support and resistance, and let's look at where price is at. And based on where price is at, we can swing across a particular area that has come into play. So let's swing across this area over here. I'll go to a lower time frame to grab that a little easier. All right, so once I swing that area across, we could see how significant that area became, all right, in terms of where price has decided to settle. Now, what you should not assume is that price has overextended itself already and it cannot go downwards anymore. You don't want to assume that. You'll be surprised. Price definitely can go down some more, and you don't want to get caught overbuying and you end up losing your account because you hedge all of it on a buy. Okay, so we want to see what structure gives us. If we get a break from this zone over here, if we get a break out of this area of support over here, then we know further downside pressure is amongst us and we should be looking for sells. But other than that, if we don't get that, then what we need to do is identify the zones that will come into play again when it comes to this area over here. Okay, so when we swing these areas across as well, we'll be able to identify which zones price can potentially come to, break to, and if price breaks these zones, then we have opportunity for buys or sells depending on where it breaks them. Okay, so swinging these across over here and over here. Okay, so swinging these across over here, we can see that if price breaks through this zone, we have an opportunity for the buy side. And again, if it breaks downwards, then we have an opportunity for the sell, but we want to see how it's going to react overall But either way, gold has been trending very nicely in terms of structure. So we'll continue to follow structure and continue to see what it gives us in the week to come. Okay, just be prepared. Either way it goes, we are prepared to capitalize on those moves, right? For US 30 now, for US 30, US 30 was a little choppy this week, but if we look from a higher time frame perspective, it's a little clearer what was going on. All right, so it came back and gave us a recovery back to this area of resistance. And what we want to do is watch this area, right? Not a lot of analysis right here on US 30, but we want to watch this area and how it behaves in this area. Okay, so if we get it creeping back up to this area of resistance, a strong area of resistance again, then we want to see if it will be able to break, because we're getting wicks as we get closer to this area, and it's looking like US 30 may be headed to the downside. But either way, we want to check how it's behaving as it gets to this area. If you start to see it wick out again, then again you can probably see assume that there's going to be more sell side pressure. But for right now, we're going to see it's sitting on this area of support over here. And if it breaks through, then we want to be able to capitalize on this quick move. This could be a quick move over here if price breaks through from this zone to this zone over here for a quick 100 pips. If it does not and it wants to break up, you at least, before you start seeing some significant struggle, you at least have this zone to this zone and this zone to at least this area over here, right? Which is about 160 pips of an area, okay? But we want to watch what's going on in this zone, all right? There has been struggle above this area of resistance, and there will be major struggle above this area of the resistance as well. But ultimately, US 30 and gold are in areas where you don't want to just quickly assume. Let's just see how they behave, and then we'll be able to find our opportunities, right? So I hope you guys made some money this week. I hope you guys will make some more money next week. We're off to a great start with February. All right, let's keep up the energy, keep it strong. Let's continue to profit, y'all, and trade safely. All right. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Jordan the Maestro, take care.